It's Thursday night. It must be time for 8 questions with. I'm your host, Patrick from Have Cheetah Will View, and we are celebrating Women in Horror Month. And honestly, I can't think of a better definition for that term than our next guest, Dilynn Fawn Harvey, who has definitely put the horror in Women in the Horror Month. She will slice and dice you. She'll tackle werewolves. She'll beat up vampires. She'll even knock a clown on his ass. All in the name of a good bloody time. How are you today, Dilynn?
I am doing fabulous. How are you doing?
Good, good. This is like first for us because I normally go through, when I go on a StreamYard, I just generally go through my phone. I have it on my, I joined StreamYard, so I have it on my phone. And hi, loves. I'm going to welcome people as they come in. I normally go through there. I had to go through the link that I sent you to come on up. my for some reason was on the fritz. So thank you for letting me borrow your link. Hello to the beautiful guest. Yes, she is beautiful. Yes, I agree with that.
Thank you.
So it's how's it like in Kansas? I mean, what part of Kansas are you actually in? Are you Kansas City or?
I'm in Topeka, Kansas.
Topeka.
And right now we're buried under some snow.
Do you guys still got snow on the ground?
We started last night, probably around midnight, maybe. Whoa, my camera's falling, guys. Sorry. And then it just kind of continued throughout the day today. But it finally stops around 3 o'clock, I think.
Okay. How many inches did you get?
Oh, maybe 2 inches. Not much. Probably less than that even.
I think we're supposed to get one of those too. A little clipper is supposed to come in tomorrow and drop a couple inches on us. And it's just like it's March. It's like you had all of January and all of February and even some December to dump some snow on us. March is supposed to be springtime. It's supposed to be sun time, but it's not. Not yet. Not here. In fact, it's 33 degrees here. I want to talk a little bit about what does Women in Horror Month mean to you? I mean, you've heard the term before. You celebrated it. I'm sure you've been asked about it. What's your idea of that? Do you think it's do you think it should be more of an official thing?
Not really. I don't know. Because for me, anytime's horror time, especially if I'm doing a movie, because it's not just one time a year. So it's all year long for me. I think it's cool, I guess, but I guess I never really thought anything of it till probably fairly recently.
And what do you feel of the term screen queen? I mean, if someone says, you're a screen queen, I mean, do you embrace that or do you?
I freaking love it, but I feel like I haven't quite earned it yet, my opinion. But I love it when people call me and refer to me as a screen queen, if that makes any sense.
I'll have to point out that I think you've more than earned it. Thank you very much. Yes, you would have earned it 100%, without doing anything else with Bonehill Road.
Oh, well, I don't know. I just think a lot of the screen queens who I think of screen queens like Linnea Quigley, Brink Stevens, all them ladies, I think they've put in so many years of their horror genre and everything else that they've done with it that to me, those are screen queens. And I just started out maybe 7 years ago doing this horror stuff. So, but I still love it.
I think the only thing that bothers me about the term screen queen, what the label is like what happens with the ladies. And I'm going to ask you this too, but do you feel because you do horror films and are known mostly for horror films that you'll get typecast?
Well, I think it's a possibility, but I'm not too worried about it. Because if I do end up getting typecast, that just means I'm good in that field. So I can still make a career out of it. It's not really it's not really a letdown at that. What's the word I'm looking for? I'd still embrace it, whatever I could get to do. If that's all I end up doing for the rest of my life, then that's what I end up doing because I enjoy it anyway. But would I like to branch out and do other things? Oh yeah, certainly.
And right on time. Steven's here. Hey, Steven.
Hi, Steven.
Yeah, we were just talking about you. The only thing that bothers me, because really it bothers me because like there's some really good actresses, like Brink Stevens. She's actually a very good actress, and the one that really bothers me the most about getting slapped with that title, and because I watched this documentary about Screen Queens. It was hosted by Debbie Rochon, and it was actually Debbie Rochon that I was talking about. She's a phenomenal actress.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a really good actress. But, that's what happened. She got labeled with that. She got the tag with that. And no one has ever really given her a chance outside of that. And that's a terrible thing because she's really good. I mean, she's really good. And, you're a good actress too, Dilynn.
Oh, thank you.
I would like to see you do, I'd love to see you in comedy. If someone came up there and said, yeah, let's get her this, I think you would rock it.
Well, that's funny you say that because I actually just did a theater show for a comedy show. I just got through doing Neil Simon's Fools, and I got to play Linya Zabrinsky in that one.
Now, how did you like being on stage?
Oh, that was fun. I've been on stage before, but this was the first time I actually did a comedy show, and that was awesome. I felt really at home doing that. That was great.
Yeah. That's what I really got the impression of when I was watching your work was, yes, you were getting all bloody, and yes, you were, being sassy and everything else. I'm going like, this woman needs a comedy. Someone needs to put her in some a sitcom or a comedy movie because you got the chops for it.
Well, thanks.
Those who can, please feel to share us out. That would be awesome if you could do that. That would be very kind of you. So before we go further into the roles and into what horror means to you and how you got to, we got to go back to the beginning. We have to go back to where you were born and raised at.
Well, I was born in Westmoreland, but I've been reared between Kansas and Oklahoma for a good chunk of my childhood life. Then my parents finally settled in Topeka and they divorced, and then my mom remarried, and that's a whole nother story on its own.
No, yeah, I get that. But as far as you, what was your childhood like? I mean, were you always a creative when you were younger?
I'd like to think so. My sisters, well, we did a lot of things together. I think one of our favorite things we did together outside mostly was reenact the movies that we liked watching. Me was comedy shows like Mel Brooks. We did Robin Hood Men in Tights, or we would reenact Spaceballs, taking on all the different roles that we liked. And then we'd switch around the next day and play the other characters. And I grew up with three sisters mostly. And then when my parents remarried, she had another child and 2 children. But it was mostly me and my 3 other older sisters, I should say. And we grew up just playing or reenacting different shows. Wizard of Oz, we would reenact. I'd always play the evil witch, the Wicked Witch of the West. And then my sisters would play the other characters. And I would be behind, kind of directing them, tell them how to do, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. Now, okay, this is your turn now. So that's as far as it went to. Because as soon as I got into middle school, I decided I needed to play the violin. And then I mostly was trying to get into that. And then when I got into high school, I dropped the violin, decided I needed to be in junior ROTC apparently because I thought the outfit was cute.
How did you like playing violin? Do you still play today? You have your own violin?
Loved it. I loved it. And I wished I hadn't stopped because once I stopped and went in high school, my mom only had enough money for either to play the violin or for junior ROTC because she had to pay for the uniform. Well, I picked ROTC instead. And now I really regret doing that because I ended up dropping out of school anyway. So I regret not continuing playing the violin because I really liked doing that.
Have you thought about picking it up now? I mean, you think you could?
But I just haven't had the money to be able to get the funds for it. So I don't have the funds to get it. So I have to take lessons again because I can't remember. I remember the G string, and that's about it.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think violins are, if I could be wrong, but I think the violins are probably the most expensive instrument.
I don't know the priced one.
Yeah, I think they're probably the most. I think they're maybe on par with a piano. No, I know I know they're definitely way more expensive than a guitar and a drum set.
It is.
Yeah, that I know. But I'm thinking, because I know pianos can run anywhere between $4,000 to $5,000.
Yeah.
You know, and grands are more than that. So, but I know violins are good violin, not just one that you just grab off. I mean, you know, an orchestra caliber, there's the thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah, they can get pricey, and then lessons on top of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think you probably need maybe 3 to 4 lessons and knock the dust off, and I think it would come right back to you.
Yeah. I think so too.
You got really long hand. Do you have long fingers?
Not really. I actually kind of got small fingers.
Okay.
But I was still able. Once I got calluses on my fingers when I was playing it, it was a breeze.
Okay. Did you? Where else? How long? Now you said you played for how many years before you had to?
Only 2 years.
Only 2 years.
I don't get it in middle school.
Now, and you said you dropped out of school. You dropped out of high school or college? Okay.
High school, yeah.
Before high school, did you do? You know, is that where you decided you want to become an entertainer? Did you know when you were in school? Is that something you decided to do then?
I didn't even know what I wanted to do yet. Once I dropped out of school, I got my GED, and then I decided I was going to try short story writing, and then so I did snail mail, whatever you want to call it, for journalism and short story writing, and I got a diploma in that, but haven't done nothing with it since. So just because I didn't know where I was going, I met my husband, we were dating, and then we ended up getting married, and I had my children. Still hadn't figured out what I wanted to do yet. And then I went into dancing for a while, so I knew I liked entertaining. Did that for about 10 or plus years, however long. And then as my kids got older, I'm like, well, it's time to retire because now their daddies are going to come in and see mommy dancing. So we had to put a stop to that.
I take the dancing. The dancing's a little sassy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a little sassy, a little more smart assy. But yeah, so I decided to stop doing that. And then that's when I decided to look into modeling. And then I decided to look into acting because I really wanted to act. But growing up, my mom was kind of leery of that. Because she was protective of us. So she'd always tell me things like, you know, because I had glasses back then. Didn't have really good teeth. They were crooked and messed up. And then she's like, you need to have, you know, good teeth. You need to have, you know, maybe wear contacts. You got to be tall, this certain height. She was just worried about it. And then she was worried about the couch castings or whatever. So she kind of thwarted me from wanting to do stuff like that. So I didn't really embrace it like I probably would have had I been given a better chance or better circumstances. Because we were, you know, we grew up on commodities, so we didn't have any money either. We were in between homes a lot of times. So I think she just didn't want me to get my hopes up, if that makes sense. She was really protective. And so I knew I liked entertaining people. I always liked making people laugh. But I didn't really start embracing it until my husband started saying, hey, do it. This is what you like to do. Go for it. And he's the one that really motivated me to look into it and start finding auditions. And I finally found Amanda Payton for an actual audition. So I'd say she was my first person to actually audition for. Before her, I did a couple of small short films in Kansas City with some other people in Kansas City, but I didn't really start doing anything formal until I met her and Todd Sheets. And then I auditioned for them once And ever since then, he's just been saying, "Hey, I got a part for you. I got a part for you. Hey, I got something for you to do. I got a part for you." And so it's just been, "Oh, okay, sure, sure." And it's just been fun since then. So I'm really glad I met them.
I am too, Dilynn. So am I. I'm glad. And more kudos for you. I mean, that would have been a very hard arena to
Mhm.
find out that you want to be entertainer. It's like, because most of the time, and I've known a few dancers like that. I actually knew one that ended up becoming a multimillionaire, a real estate agent, actually. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, one of the best. But
Mhm.
he danced too.
Mhm.
I think it's a really interesting it's a really interesting place because you got to discover that you do like to perform, but you wanted to perform on your own terms, though. You were like, I
Yeah.
don't want to do this. I want to act.
Yeah.
So what did you ever decide to take classes? I mean, and kudos to your husband. What's your husband's name?
Jeff.
Jeff. Thank you,
Mhm.
Jeff. Um, uh, uh, I mean, kudos to him for pushing you, and as far as that goes. I mean, you know, and your mom. I mean, yeah, I mean, she did raise some legitimate concerns, because you hear all the horror stories about that, casting castles and stuff like that. Um, everybody's got to have the perfect body and the perfect skin
Yeah.
and all the other stuff. A lot of that, but then you found out, now you found out that that, hey, it doesn't really matter really what you look like as long as you can bring the goods, as long as you can act, because there's always going to be roles.
Nowadays, yeah, a lot of things have changed nowadays. I know after I was with my husband, after I had my daughter, my husband, he's asked me if I wanted to fix something on my body, what would it be? Like, would you like to fix your teeth or would you like an enhancement? I said, I'd like to fix my teeth. So we got my teeth fixed.
Yeah, you have a beautiful smile.
Thank you. It's all because of my husband.
Thanks, Jeff. Everybody in the chat say thank you, Jeff. Um, no, I'm a I was married too, so I totally understand the teamwork, and
Yeah.
the dynamics. And you guys did you meet in high school or junior high or?
No, that's a funny story, actually, because like I said, I had dropped out. And when I was studying for my GED, I would go up to my mom's work where he also worked at part time because he had another full time job and other jobs that he was doing. But he was working with my mom at this restaurant. And I would go up and I would do some studying up there. And then on the weekends, I would see him up there. And the first time I saw him, I went over to my mom and I go, "Who's that?" And she goes, "That's Jeff." I go, "Oh, okay." So she kind of like, "What are you thinking?" And I got to know him a little bit. I'd come up every day, every weekend to see him. And my excuse was to either be studying my GED or I was trying to get my driver's permit or driver's license at the time. So I would come up and pick my mom up from work because I would take the bus out there actually. And then I would drive home in the car practicing driving.
Okay.
And I would come out whether it was sleeting or raining just so I could see him. And he thought it was because I was seeing my mom the entire time, but it wasn't. It's because I wanted to see him. So for 2 years, I was 16 when I first started going out there. And he would ask me out sometimes, but he didn't know how old I was. But I was also working full time. So I was working at another restaurant myself. So every time he'd ask me out, I was working. So he thought I was blowing him off for a little while. Then
No.
finally, after I turned 18, he had broken up with a girlfriend of his that he was seeing, and then he asked me out again. And I was actually off that day. I was like, "Yeah," and I told my mom. I said, "Mom, he finally asked me out," and she goes, "You didn't say yes, did you?"
Your mom was really protective of you. She's
She was.
uh,
But she embraced him later. They got along. They ended up getting along. It was funny because I guess there was times she would tell me stories of how he would come to work drunk from a party he was at all night long with his ex-girlfriends. But he always got the job done. So
uh, well, I've seen a few of those. Let me tell you, I've seen a few coworkers come in like that before too. Not pleasant, but like you feel like Okay, as long as they're here, as long as they can function. Um, okay, I'm gonna ask you this because I know you already know. But where did you do for your first date? Where did you
We
date
went
you?
to Philly's. We sat down, we had dinner, and we went to a movie. The basic.
Uh-huh.
Oh, when we were going to we were waiting for the movie to start. We were walking through the mall because at the time the movie theater was in the mall here in Topeka, and we were window shopping, just looking at stuff. And we were outside a jewelry store, and we were walking by, and I was looking at the jewelry because I'm a girl, I like to look. And he goes, "Do you want to go inside and buy anything, or do you want anything in there?" I was like, "No, I'm on a date to get to know you. I don't want anything." And he's like, "Oh, okay." He
Oh
told
wow.
me after we were dating for a while, he told me that first night was like a pile of rocks lifted off his chest because every other person he's dated always expected something. So I didn't want nothing. But now I'm spoiled like crazy. So he spoiled me now. Now when I go to the store, I can't leave without one thing in my hand.
Oh. Uh,
It could
hello,
be
hello,
Dollar Tree,
everyone.
I don't care.
Uh, yeah. Well, you know what? That's cute. That's you're right. That's a prototypical first date. Um, but when did you know that he was the one for you?
Oh, you know what? I don't even know if I have an answer to that because I've always felt like he was the one. That's like I said, the first time I met him when I was 16, I just said that boy is going to be mine, and I was right.
Let's see. Reborn says, "Don't marry an educated. It will create a ego." I don't know what that means.
So what?
It says, "Don't marry an educated. It will create a ego."
I have
Oh,
no idea.
oh, really, dude? You're in the wrong room if you believe that crap. You're in the wrong room for that. Wow. Okay. Well, hopefully that'll be the only.
Oh well.
Yeah, I think we got a troll. So let me just get him out of here. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah.
This world would not be round without trolls.
No, I don't know. I don't know what it is. People feel like they need to come in and degrade and pop off about on other people with that they don't even know.
Yeah.
So you know what? That's just not right. If you want to come in and maybe that's someone who's feels their masculinity is threatened. Is probably
Yeah.
more like it. So how old were you when you got married?
I was 21 actually.
41.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
We
Now,
were engaged for a while. And then we had planned to get married in 98. Originally, we planned to get married in July of 98. But in my 21st birthday on 1997, uh, we were on our way to celebrate my 21st birthday. And my mom actually got into a car wreck on the way up to Kansas City on the turnpike. And I ended up going to the hospital, and but before I got there, the paramedics, some lady came up to me and she was asking me, the standard questions, and one of them being, "Are you pregnant?" And of course, my husband or fiance at the time said no because I was kind of wonky, and I go, "Well, wait a minute, I'm a few weeks late."
oh,
So I had planned to tell him myself that I thought, that I was pregnant, but I was waiting officially. And so I told the paramedics, I'm a few weeks late. So they called the hospital up ahead and down in Lawrence, and where they were taking us, and they set up a pregnancy test or blood test, whatever, for it. And one time when I got there, they drew the test, and then they came back and started covering me up and all the X-ray stuff and said, "You're pregnant." I'm like, "What? Oh shit!" So I found out on my 21st birthday after a car wreck that I was pregnant with our daughter.
I'm glad all was one. Glad you're okay.
Yes, everything was fine. The car got told my mom. She had a few bumps and bruises, and she's scrapes on her forehead and stuff. And like my husband, he was wearing a seatbelt, so he got nasty bruises along here, along his
Mm.
chest. And but I ended up being okay. And I was coming out of the X-ray room as he was going in for his turn. And I said, "Guess what, honey? You're gonna be a daddy." He's like, "What?"
That is like, you pass him, you're going in, he's coming out, and oh, by the way, you're gonna be a pop. I'm sure that made his. I'm sure he felt a lot better right after that. All the pain that he was feeling probably all vanished because he was probably so excited to hear the news.
Yeah, he was very excited.
So let's go back to let's start with now that I want to start talking to you about your acting because now you're a dancer. You came out of that. You wanted to perform. You felt more confident going into it. Your husband's behind you, just behind you. So did you go ahead and start taking acting classes, or did you just start cold calling? Places to audition.
Just cold turkey. Went in and auditioned. I have a few classes that I do want to take. But I'm waiting to get some funds to start them. But I'm hoping to start them soon, just because I think it would be fun to do, and it never hurts because you learn something new all the time, and learning is fun. So I definitely don't mind doing that, learning different techniques, and I think that would be exciting and useful for future projects. So I definitely have my eye on classes, but I have not yet officially taken any classes yet. So no.
So you just do what you're doing. It's just your natural ability, which is pretty prodigious, actually.
Yeah. Thanks.
So what was the first project that you auditioned for? Not necessarily booked, but what you just auditioned for?
That would be for Sleepless Nights for The Crawler that Amanda Payton wrote and directed.
Now, is Amanda Payton a Kansas City filmmaker as well?
She is, but she mostly does a lot of producing for Todd Sheets. No, that was second. Sorry, I auditioned for Little Girl Lost, which is a short film for YouTube. But that was actually my second project.
Well, how did you like the this is your first audition. You had never auditioned before.
That was scary.
Huh?
That was a scary moment.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. But you had the confidence, though. I'm sure.
Oh no, actually, I don't even know what drove me other than my husband giving me the backbone to do it. Because if it wasn't for him, I think I would have chickened out and wouldn't have gone. But with him supporting me so much, I was able to go up there. And I was so nervous that my stomach started hurting. I was so nervous. So I was just like, I get there and I see a bunch of other women in there. I'm like, they probably know what they're doing. I don't even know what I'm doing. My turn was back there to get called, and my husband, of course, stayed out in the waiting room. And I went in there with my hands and palms all clammy, and I was shaking. I was so nervous. I was trying not to show it, and I could feel my lip quivering. I was so nervous. My bottom lip always quivers so bad when I'm nervous. I'm sitting here trying to smile, and I'm just like, stop quivering.
Well, I tell you what, we're not seeing a quiver tonight. That's for sure. You're definitely you're a confident person now. You probably of anybody I've talked to, you probably have just gone, because you're not the first one that's told me this kind of story. Yeah. There was another artist who did that too. They said, I want to be an actor. I want to do acting. How can I get an acting job? And so they went on Craigslist and answered an audition ad at Craigslist. And they got
mine was through Facebook group. I saw someone throw out an audition for it, and I'm like, so I answered and I said, hey, I'm interested. And that was Amanda. And that's when she sent me the place to go to, and she's like, okay, come on by and audition here. So I did. So mine was through the grace of Facebook.
Okay. Well, you know what though? That I would actually. Well, geez, I know. Have you been through any of the Facebook acting groups?
I am in one called Talent Managers for Actors. And then of course I'm in some for Kansas City actors. And then I'm in some of the other ones for different states, but most people want local hire because they can't afford to bring somebody out of state. So it just depends on what the project is.
Are you a little bit surprised to see I'm sure you being a veteran now of several films. But can you spot a scammer when they pop in a room?
I'm getting better at I'm getting better at it, but they are still hard because they look pretty legitimate a lot of times. But once they start asking you to give them money, then that's a big red flag right there. Yep.
No doubt. Isn't that something? Yeah. We talked about that too, about the pay to play, where people will come in.
The only time that's not a scam is through Indiegogos when they're doing their projects, because there are perks for, hey, act alongside so and so, and for some people that really is a good perk for them, especially people who just want it as a fun one-time deal, just to go have fun with it and still support the movie. And then there's some people who are wanting to get into acting, and that's one way to get the foot into the door to get some experience also. So that's the only time it's legitimate and that it's not a scam, is through an Indiegogo perk, in my opinion. I don't know how other people feel about it, but.
Do you feel that's a slippery slope though? Because that's actually been a rising topic, especially among indie productions, is how someone will.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not an expert in any of this, so it's kind of hard to answer that, especially since I'm not really involved in the other fields other than acting. But like I said, no one, you don't have to do it. You can always do, because they hold auditions for other parts beforehand. So all you got to do is just say, if you have any more available roles, I'd love to audition for you, especially if they have the funds to bring in outside talent. But a lot of times it's just one or two acting roles. It's not like it's the entire movie. It's just for something that's going to star alongside the main star. And sometimes they have big stars come in, and it's like, what an opportunity that could be, for someone who wants to do it as a hobby, if that makes sense. You get one or two lines maybe. I don't know. It just depends on the project, I guess.
Yeah, I just because I've just now we're seeing I've talked to we talked to people about that, where you offer the perks, and someone comes in there, before it'd be like it used to be come in, act, get a one or two lines besides the icon, or maybe get killed, Kane Hodder's going to kill you, here's $1,500, if you want to do that. But we're starting to hear that, where some of these folks do that, and they come on set, and next thing you know, they're being handed a role that an actor had already auditioned for and gotten the part, and they replaced them.
Stuff. Yeah. See, that's where the hard call is. You just don't know, because unless you know the person, I don't know.
Yeah. So. Did you got the first role for with Amanda? You got the part.
Yep.
Wow.
I was very excited. That's where I play Enid. She's a waitress at I want to say bar and grill, maybe. I'm not sure. Not sure, because the place where we filmed at served drinks and snacks and stuff, but it was located inside the theater. So, which is such a cool theater too. But so I guess some kind of restaurant style, as far as the movie goes, or the short goes, because it's an anthology that I did, and I'm actually in 2 of those for Sleepless Nights, because Antoine Steele hit me up later after I did the crawler for Amanda Payton, and he asked me to be in his movie that he wrote and had Todd direct. And that one was called It Hits the Fan. And that's where I play Zombie Ho.
Zombie Ho, okay. So was that your first experience getting all made up?
No, because in the crawler, yes.
Yeah.
The zombie, I just had a little bit of makeup, not a whole lot. But the crawler, that was a lot, because we had to put the creature in the back of my neck on that one, and that was very bloody, very, very bloody, very tangly, and that was such an all-nighter. And when I say all-nighter, I mean, like, we went in about 7 o'clock that night, and we didn't get done till about 6 o'clock that morning. And I had to work that morning, and we had to get our kids to school that morning. So we were rushing from Kansas City to Topeka to get home just in time to get our kids to school. Because luckily they got up on their own and got ready and everything. So they're pretty self-sufficient at the time. Thank goodness. And so we got home just in time for my husband to take them to work while I hopped in the shower to get all that FX stuff off of me so I can get ready and then turn around and go to work when he got home. So I didn't get to bed till that night.
How did your kids, when you told your kids that you were going to be, you were going to be doing acting, mom's going to be in a movie.
Oh, they were excited.
Were they? I bet.
Yeah, they were very excited for me. There's some they don't like to watch because it's a little uncomfortable for kids to be watching, but other than that, they're really supportive.
Don't worry, kids. There's some movies out there that made adults a little uncomfortable. Yeah, don't fear. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just me, I guess. So the crawler, that was your first experience with makeup, and yet how long was the shoot for? Because you had to come back there, several days to get all made up again, right?
It was just 2 days. It was a 2-day shoot. I don't think there was another day. I think it was just 2 days. Yeah, there was that night, and then there was. I'm trying to remember if we had another night or not. But I would say at the most it was 3 days if it was that many days. But I think it was just 2 days because we did the restaurant scene, and then we did a bathroom scene, and that bathroom scene was wild. That was a mess.
Most, a lot of, even, I know what you're new, you want to do everything and anything that they ask of you, within reason. But still, for the first time out, and it's like, this is my first time I'm on stage, on set. I mean, did you feel comfortable being on set? I mean, I
was very comfortable being on set. I mean, I was nervous because I wanted to do a good job, but I was very comfortable there. It felt like I belonged there. Everybody was really cool. Everybody was really nice. And then when it came to the bathroom scene, because that's where it got a little uncomfortably weird, because of the nature of that scene. But I was in control of everything. They gave me the props to use, and I did everything on my own with them doing the close-ups. And if you haven't seen it yet, I don't want to give anything away. You'd have to see it for yourself to see what I'm talking about. Once you see that scene, you're going to be like, oh, that's what she's talking about.
I have a feeling. Now, did you think that was just all? I mean, what did what did you think when you saw yourself on screen for the first time? When it came out and you watched it, what was it like?
I thought it was so cheesy.
Did you think you did a good job?
Oh, I think I'm probably my biggest critic, which most actors are. Most artists are their biggest critics. I thought and I still think that my voice is so cringy and screechy and just annoying.
No, honestly, no, your voice is not that. No.
Well, that's what I've been told, but to me, when I hear it, it's just like, oh, do I sound that way?
No, you have a very pleasant voice, actually.
Oh, thank you.
No. Yeah, you're very charming. So yeah, but I get it though. Some people are, but I think it must have helped a little bit knowing that you're covered all in blood and goo and stuff, and going like, yeah, that's not really me up there. I don't look that bad. Look at me kick ass up there though. I mean, yeah. So after the crawler, then you went and did. It says here, I'm looking at your database. Kiki Meets the Vampires.
Oh, yeah. I had like a small guest appearance, and the funny thing with that is he had already had the movie done. But he really wanted me to be a part of it. So he added that into it years after, or I think it was years, maybe a year after he had already had it completed, and you can tell it looks like it was added later because the coloring is off from the rest of the movie. Right. But it was fun. I had fun doing it. That one I really felt cheesy when I saw it.
Well, I think it's quite flattering too that he thought enough of you to save you a spot. I mean, someone must have saw right away.
I had just met him. He actually played my on-screen husband for the crawler. He played the crazy drunk.
So, but he still thought of your ability enough to turn around and ask you to come in his movie.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
I do too. I mean, because think about it. It's like the first role could almost be like lightning in a bottle. Like you got lightning struck. You got a roll. A lot of
Mhm.
times people think that when it happens that way, oh, it's gonna be a cakewalk. This is what acting's so about. I mean, my very first audition, I walk in and I nail it, and I get
Yeah.
the part. It's gonna be cake after this, but it really isn't.
No,
You know,
it's
it's
not. Yeah.
really
'Cause I
very,
could
very,
go.
very hard.
Mhm.
Um, so the fact that he thought of your ability enough to ask you and waited for you to do a role for his movie, it's got to boost your self confidence a great deal.
Yeah, it was really flattering. I thought it was pretty cool. He's
Uh,
he's a really nice guy.
Now, is he still making films as well? It says Joey Skidmore.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
not that I know of. He's in a band, but I'm trying to remember the name of his band. I don't know if he's still singing with them or not. I know he likes making music mostly.
okay.
But I don't know if I know he wanted to make another movie, but I don't know if he's going to or not. That I don't know.
Uh, and then you did another short. I think shorts. I mean, do you feel the same way, Dylan? Do you think shorts are a perfect teaching area for actors?
Oh
I
yeah.
always, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, definitely.
those who, you're right. I mean, not everybody can go ahead and pop out the hundreds of dollars, for acting classes,
Yeah.
and and there's no shame in that.
Yeah.
I think if you do short, I mean, because if you're doing short films, you're getting on the job training. You get practical training.
Exactly.
You're learning your way around the set. You're learning the lingo. You're learning what the different departments do. You're watching how everybody acts and conducts themselves. It's on the job training.
Yeah. I
And
remember the first time I learned what continuity meant because I hadn't heard the word before. And like continuity. So I went around for 2 months around my house going, continuity. It's my favorite word. Continuity. Cotton candy. Continuity. Those are my two favorite words now. For
uh,
like a long time around my house.
before we continue your ascending upward, let me ask you this question. You've been on now. You've done some, you're a veteran now.
Oh, I'm not a veteran.
I think I, I I don't know. I mean, you've done how many movies with Todd? 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say you're a veteran. I think that's yeah.
I
Um,
still feel like I'm learning a lot and I still have a lot
of
more to learn. So,
course. I mean, anybody says that they know anything at all about making a movie, I'm not believing that at all. I mean, I've had folks up here, with a ton more experience than you, and they tell me that they're still learning. There's things that they're still discovering.
oh,
So,
yeah.
there's no such
So
thing
much
as
to
I.
learn.
I know though. I know the movie business. Okay. Um. Uh. But one of the things I'm going to ask you is, have you ever worked as crew? Did you ever? Because I know indie films are, they're very, low budget, and sometimes you have to do double duty, sometimes triple
Uh,
duty.
not, not like anything specific. If there's something that needs help with, behind the scenes while I'm there, I will help out with it. My husband does a lot of help behind the scenes. He'll help move lights around if there's stuff that needs to be moved around if he's there. He says he's done that once.
Uh. Now, is your husband in the business as well?
No, no, he's only in it to support me. That's it.
Well, that's enough.
Mhm.
Hold on one second. There we go. I keep on glitching over here, so I have to keep on
Oh,
refreshing my screen.
that's
Uh,
okay. My ring light broke, so it keeps falling down on me.
um, so now I want to go. Let's get into this because short films are great on the job training.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So now you have room to grow, and it's because most of the time when there's shorts for being made, a lot of the times the directors and the crews themselves are also learning. I think
Mhm.
it's a great way for filmmakers to improve their craft and for actors to improve their craft as well. Being um, being handed a feature role without any sort of background as a recipe for disaster. As far as a director goes. So where did you meet Todd Sheets?
I met them in Kansas City when I did that audition for Amanda's Crawler. They were all in there. So there's Amanda Payton, Todd Sheets, Johnny Reed, and Antoine Steele. They were all in the room together. And I didn't know who any of them were at the time, so I had no idea that Todd was even going to be in my life after that day. Like, I had no idea that I was going to have this long future with him as far as movies go. No idea. All I know is I was meeting Amanda Payton that day.
But when did you meet him as far as working for him? I mean,
well, for him, because he was helping to direct Amanda's stuff, or he was the cameraman. My bad. He was the cameraman that day. Like I said, I just didn't know who he was, but had met him that day. But his actual film that I did for him specifically, I think it was The Muse for High Death, and then it was the Dreaming Purple Neown, because those two were pretty close together. I'm trying to remember which one was first, because High Death came out later because it was a different collaboration from other directors from different states. So everybody got their anthologies in later, or their shorts in later on. It took 2 or 3 years. So I'm pretty sure I did that with him first, and then we went on to Dreaming Purple Neown.
Were you surprised to see how long it takes for a movie to get turned around?
Yeah, I learned a lot, especially if you do a collaboration with other filmmakers and you're waiting for them to get their stuff in. It could take a long time. Like, we're still waiting. I think High Death is finally done, or High Fear is finally done, and it's just now starting to hit the film circuit, the film festivals.
Blunt Force Entertainment. Dilynn is awesome. She rocks. Yes, she does. Yes, she does. Yeah, I think a lot of people are really surprised how what the process is. It seems like a movie comes out, like how long it actually takes to get a movie from the very get-go to release. It takes a while, like you said, 2 years, for the anthology film, because everybody works at a different pace and different budget.
And you gotta get the actors, and you gotta get the people that are doing the editing parts, and you gotta get everybody's time to work on their time, because it's low budget, so not everybody's getting paid for everything, and you just gotta wait for them to be available. So, and it just takes patience. And once it's done, it's great.
Now I'm going to ask you a question that I've never asked anybody yet, but I'm going to ask you: what was it like the first time you actually got paid for a role?
That was an amazing feeling.
How is that negotiated?
My first paying job, I actually had an agent at the time, and she worked out. I told her what I was looking for. This is what I wanted, and she went and wrote up the contract and say, hey, this is what she wants. This is what she wants to do, and we made an agreement with the director, who, by the way, was Brad. Hi, Brad. He's with Blunt Force Entertainment.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So he's the one that first hired me out as an actress out there. So he was my first paying job.
So how did it feel the first time you actually got paid? Because you hear about that, huh?
That was fantastic. I thought it was awesome. Like an actual actress. Yes. I was gonna say. I mean, it must be really cool to get that first check and like, okay, I'm an artist. Someone's actually. Yeah, you can actually say I'm a working actress now. So.
Yeah. So now, obviously, we have to talk about something, because this is one of the things you're known for. But when was the first time that anybody, who approached you first as far as appearing, topless on film?
Let's see here. Topless on film. I believe that was Todd.
I mean, it's one of the requirements of a screen queen. I mean, that's what Debbie Rochon said. She says, if you're a screen queen, be expected to ask to go topless a lot.
I think what they say, the 3 B's of horror movie: boobs, blood, and beast, I believe is what that is.
Oh. Okay, thanks, Cheetah. that?
Oh, it's kind of good.
What was the okay? So Todd asked you for that. Was that for the very first movie you did for him?
Yeah, and that was for the Muse for High Death, and then again for Dreaming Purple Neon, and then again for Bonehill Road, and then again for Clownado.
Yeah,
But
it was.
I didn't show any boobs in the final caller.
No. I heard that. I heard that. Well, I think that's well, of course, that's just. I mean, it's great to do once in a while, like if you feel comfortable with it and whatnot. But it's like you don't want to have to do that every single movie. It's like doing a horror movie. I don't mind being a creature, but do I want to be a creature in every single thing that I do? No, I like to be a final girl, once, or I like to be the heroine, or I like to chop up people, with my clothes on. Yeah. So what did that feel like when you're asked? Did you and Jeff talk about it? Were you comfortable with that? I mean,
I'm comfortable being topless. It's being nude that I'm not comfortable with. So I wouldn't do a nude role. I wouldn't say never. Would never do it. Money talks. It depends on the right contract. But topless, you probably get me to go topless more so than nude for sure. And it depends on the role. If the role has got to at least match why I'm getting topless. It has to make sense at least.
Right. Yeah, it has to fit the story. And no. I mean, so what do you think about the were you shocked at the violence that they were asking you to do? I mean, was
not
that something?
really. No, because it's a horror movie. I mean, I grew up watching. I also liked watching Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, that's pretty gruesome, in my opinion. He slashes people up, and then of course Jason and Michael Myers. I mean, so no, it didn't shock me at all.
Those guys are all rated G though to Todd Sheets movie.
This is true. Well,
I'm just being honest with you about that. I mean, yeah, they're a horror movie and they have some gore, but when it comes down to it, it's like watching Saturday morning cartoons compared to he is called extreme entertainment for a reason.
This is true, yeah. Well, and I did see my share of zombie movies growing up, which those, by the way, scared the living daylights out of me as a kid. Because I seen like the skin stretching and then intestines coming out. I don't even remember which movie it was, because it was on a channel that I think it was on HBO or something, and we weren't allowed to watch horror movies growing up, so I had to sneak downstairs to get anything on cable to watch while they were sleeping. And that's when I still would come across the zombie movie and I'm like, oh my God, this is nasty. And then I would have nightmares of zombies. And then those nightmares where they're chasing you really fast and you're running super slow. Well, I just got through watching The Bionic Woman, and I'm like, this whole time I thought I was dreaming, having nightmares of zombies chasing me, and I was actually dreaming I was the Bionic Woman because I was outrunning these guys in slow motion.
Wow! All right, that's cool. Which one? With you know what? I should have asked you that. Was there any actor or actress when you grew up that inspired you to get into acting?
Well, here's the funny story. What's her? Mel Brooks, for starters, is my favorite person. I love all of his shows. But I'm trying to remember her name. Darn it, she was in Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5. I even have a picture with her. Oh, I can't remember her name. Dang it.
Was it Madeline Kahn?
I love Madeline Kahn, but she wasn't in Nightmare on Elm Street. Madeline Kahn is my favorite female actress, one of them. Yeah, I love her so much. But I'm trying to think. It was the gal who was in Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5. And I'm trying to think of her name. Oh. I feel so bad now because I freaking love her so much.
Let me see if I can find. I'm surprised someone else is popping off with that name already. You guys are slacking off in the chat.
I feel terrible because, like I said, I have a picture with her. She was Lisa Wilcox. Thank you, honey.
Lisa Wilcox. Okay.
Yeah, Lisa Wilcox. She is amazing. She's so nice too. When I got to meet her, she was so sweet. She was my very first VHS that I owned was Nightmare on Elm Street #5. My grandfather got me that for my 16th birthday, and that was my very first movie that I ever owned.
Steven knew it. Steven came through big. Yeah, I mean, so that was the person you were trying to model your acting. You know, like I'm inspired.
I wasn't trying to model after her for that, but she was one of my favorites to watch growing up, because that was my favorite genre of horror film. Well, I don't know if you call that a genre or series, but it was my favorite series. There we go. To watch when it came to my go-to movies to watch for horror films, that would be Nightmare on Elm Street. I loved all those, even the least favorites, the last ones. You know, I even like watching those a little bit.
See, I said it twice. He's a magician. You're not quite the musician yet, young man. You're not there yet. Not like me. A rabbit out of the hat. Yeah. No, Steve and I are we collaborate and we talk a lot, and he runs a great show himself, and him and I we bat around ideas, and yeah, you're getting there though. You're getting there, Steven. So let's go back to Todd, because I want to go. You know, we got to get into the good stuff here. We got to go into Dreaming Purple Neon. Okay, for one thing, did you once you found out who Todd Sheets was, because he'd been making movies since the late '80s, mid late '80s. So I don't understand that. He must have been this big. I mean, he doesn't look old at all. He looks like he's like in his early 30s.
He holds his age well.
Yeah. Because I was surprised when he said, "Well, I've been making movies since this age." I'm going like,
yeah.
How were you born with a Super 8 in your hand or something? Because he doesn't look that he's old enough to be making movies back then.
Right?
Did you know his background?
Nope, I had no idea who he was. I learned everything about what he did through him talking and having discussions with him when we weren't filming. But I didn't know who he was, and I had to go through and find all of his movies that I could find, and I watched them as much as I could. But they're hard to find. The old movies are really hard to find.
Well, I think he. A gentleman named Michael Matheson says Dilynn was my stage wife in Fools.
Ah, yes. Hi, Matt. Hi.
That's awesome.
He was great.
I think it's awesome you're doing this live theater. I love that. I tell you that that's really cool.
Michael was fun to work with. He was a blast.
And that's another awesome place to cut your teeth on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Her crying always cracked me up. Do we might need to see an excerpt here of okay. We might have to see some crying on here.
It was a comical cry.
Yes. So Todd had already had a quite extensive history. He's one of the leading shot on video horror meisters of the 80s and 90s. Though I heard him, he mentioned that there's some movies that he would like to buy all the copies of and burn. You know what though, I would hope that he would not do anything like that, because they're part of his growth as well. He became a better filmmaker with every film. So you watch some of his earlier films before Dreaming Purple Neon, or did that come afterwards?
That came after. Yeah, that came way after, because I had to do it, and I still can't find I think I seen a couple of them I actually found on YouTube before I realized watching stuff that was ripped on YouTube was a bad thing. So I stopped looking for them after I realized that's a no-no. But so every time I find something ripped on YouTube or whatever, I send it to Todd, say, hey, you might want to put a stop to this. But yeah, that's how I found Sorority Babes, a dance-a-thon or something like that. I found that one. And then I found what was that? Goblin? Yeah, Goblin.
Yeah, that's the one he hates. Oh,
he doesn't like that.
No, he was on the warpath on that one. He was like, oh my God.
But everybody loves it though.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I got. I got the impression of, well, like, I have a feeling this is like a cult favorite. But I it's like, it actually made me want to go watch it. It's like, okay, I like to see what he did. I mean, why is he hating on his movie so much? It must be pretty damn good.
It was fun. I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was kind of. I do see with the one scene that he doesn't like is particularly, and that's one of the scene that he's in, because it does go on too long. So I could see why he would not like that part. But otherwise, I didn't think the movie was that bad. I thought it was kind of fun to watch.
So let's talk about Purple Neon. It looks like you played a demon in here.
Yes, I played Queen Abaddon.
Yes. What was the experience like? This is your first feature film. I mean, like, first feature. Have you done anthologies? You've done shorts. Now this is a feature film. Yeah. This is a whole different animal. I mean, you have your part is much bigger. The shoot is a lot longer. The budget's much bigger. I mean, in comparison to what you've done before.
Actually, the budget was probably smaller.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He used a lot of credit cards for this one. A lot of it was out of pocket. Most of it was out of pocket, actually. This was pretty low shoestring budget, and he pulled it off very well.
Yeah, he definitely, his and you can tell how dedicated he is to his movies, because I saw the staff that he has, the team he has around him. There's a lot of people there, and damn well not everybody's getting paid. I mean, exactly. And they're just there because it's him.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your experience like on the film as far as that goes, as far as being your first feature? And did you have to audition still, Dilynn, or he just gave you the role?
He just gave me the role. He said, "This is the role for you. I wrote it for you." So this is your role. So, and he told me, you're going to be playing the Queen of Hell. You're going to be playing Queen Abaddon. I'm like, oh, I like the sound of that. And so, and the funny thing is, the first time I went in on set to get makeup on, I seen one of the demoness walk out of the makeup room, and I'm looking at her going, what? I looked at my husband and go, what the heck? She's covered in like this dark green and mossy makeup everywhere. She's pretty much naked, and she's got these nipple horns on her, over her nipples. And I'm like, what is that? And I go into the makeup room and I see nipple horns sitting on the counter. I'm like, what are they going to do? What is Todd doing to me? So I'm like, and I went over to Todd and I was like talking to the makeup lady. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I don't want to sound conceited, but I was told I was supposed to be pretty. It sounds horrible, I know, but that wasn't what I was, because when I saw the demoness walk out with all this crazy moss everywhere and looking like, a demon, I'm like, what am I going to look like? Like, I didn't know for sure what he had in mind. And she goes, don't worry, you're going to be pretty. I was just like, God, that sounds terrible. But I'm like, okay, I went ahead, and my husband's like, you can walk away anytime. You can go home. You don't have to do this. Because like I said, we're just still getting to know Todd. And I still didn't know much about him yet. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and try it. If I don't like the outcome afterwards, then I'll just not do it. So I went ahead and I put my trust in the makeup lady, Jackie, and she did the glamorous makeup, and then she started putting on the nipple horns, and she was doing the makeup around it. And then by the time she was done, I really liked it. I was like, wow. As you can see right here. Where'd it go? Can you see that very well?
Let me see. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that was the part that she was doing was before the headgear and everything came on. The part that she was getting me ready for was the birthing scene. So that, wow, all I can say is, my husband says hubba hubba, because that's his favorite part. And the birthing scene is where I am naked. So there's a nudity clause where we shot at. which is why they came up with the nipple horns. So we weren't allowed to have nudity on inside city, those city limits that we were filming in. So I had to wear fit pantyhose, and they put a fishnetting skirt around me to imply that I was naked coming out of this body when I was coming up when they were raising me up from hell, if you will, and I was bursting through a teenager's body. And that poor girl, I felt so bad for her, because we had the table where I was coming up through. She was in part of it with her head sticking out, laying back like that. And then I had to come out from between her legs up through there like this. Wow. So, yeah. And I was doused in blood, literally buckets of blood poured all over me. And then Jackie she made like a shampoo blood to put in my hair, because I had bright blonde hair still, and they were worried about it getting stained, which it did stain for about 2 weeks. But it was a real pretty pink afterwards.
Okay. We got some benefits out of it.
Yeah, and it was fun to play with. I didn't mind it. But they put that all in my hair. They covered me completely in blood. And then that's when I went under the table and I burst through a makeshift skin. And it only took 2 shots, because that's all we had was 2 skins for me to break through.
Well, okay. So you had to get it right.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it came out really good.
Aren't you impressed with yourself that you did that within the 2 shots?
Yes, I was. And I was just like crossing my fingers I can get it done right the first, because he told me ahead of time that there was only 2 takes to take, because they only had so much props for that scene. So, and I took my time with it. I didn't rush it. And then I was able to, did the whole claw thing with this to make it look like something was getting ready to push out. And then I just burst through and just came up.
It's only like 45 degrees.
And it was only like 45 degrees in there, so I was cold.
Oh, I don't know what it is about horror films, but horror films, locations, and cold weather go hand in hand. I mean, you cannot. It's almost like, can we make a movie in the summer? No. It's like, let's make a horror film. Okay, let's do it in August. No, must be cold.
But I think it was spring that we were doing. I can't remember. I thought it was spring, but the place that we were filming in was down in the basement area, as it was. So it was even colder than it should have been. You know what I mean?
Late night.
And we were filming at night, so of course the temperatures got colder.
So you came out of that, and I noticed one thing too. I'm looking at the cast here. Todd does he does the John Ford thing. He does acting troops. He uses the same people over and over. That must be a complete trust thing. He knows that you guys are going to not only deliver, but you're also going to show up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is that a hard thing on a set like that? I mean, not that I expect it to happen.
The bigger the cast, the harder it is to get people to show up that say they're going to show up. Yes. The smaller the cast, of course, which is like the final caller, everybody was showing up that was going to show up for that. So that was really a well put together cast. But yeah, In Purple Neown with the bigger cast. I'm not sure if there's any mess ups on that one as far as cast goes. That I'm not sure about. My baby, my peppers.
Oh, okay.
A storm. But I do know that when we did Clownado, we had people not show up. And Bonehill Road was smaller, so we had reliable people there. There was a few blunders, of course. A few messed up, but there's always going to be a mess up.
I think the craziest story I've heard with that is, I think that was from Steve Brzezinski, who said that he was shooting a film, and two of his leads were supposed to show up, and they both didn't show up.
Oh man!
I think that was like, that was crazy. So now you done Purple Neown. Now you got your, now you done your first feature film. And did you guys have a premiere for it?
Yes, we actually had it, the first one in Kansas City. And then we had one in Hollywood, down in LA. I don't remember. In Purple Neown was the Acme Theater, I believe it was called. the Acme Comedy Club or Comedy Theater or something like that.
Okay.
And then Bonehill Road, I don't remember which theater that one was called though, but it was also somewhere in LA. But we would have both premieres in Kansas City and then again in LA. And we did that for In Purple Neown, Bonehill Road, and Clownado.
Now, when you're walking the red carpet, what was that like for you? What was
there wasn't a red carpet. It was just in the theater, but it was still really great. Now we did get to stand in front of the comedy when we did In Purple Neown. They had the comedy club background that you stand in front of to take pictures with. Right. So that was my first experience with that type of background, and that was fun. But the rest of the time, Bonehill Road and Clownado, we just took pictures in like the lobby where they sell popcorn and stuff. But there was no like official red carpet or anything like that.
Did you do you read your own reviews? I mean, when the movie comes out, do you read the reviews for the movies?
Yeah. If they start out with like if they start out with a 1, then I just don't read it because I know they're going to be terrible and mean. So I try to stay away from those because if I don't, then my husband's like, "Why do you read that shit?"
Right.
So I try to stay away from. Try to read the good ones, especially when Todd shares them. Then I know they're going to be good. So.
Right. No, Hobbs. I'm not gonna. No, I already know what Hobbs is gonna be asking, and it's gonna be a no. So, yeah. So Purple Neown came out. That's your first official Todd Sheets, like, gore. I mean, so now you're ready. Now you're ready for to move on, and now you play Lucy in Bonehill Road, and that is where I met you for the first time, as far as an actress go. Bonehill Road came out on Wild Eye, and so I got to watch and review it. Let's talk about that movie a little bit, and about the violence, about the violence too, because I mean, there's horror films and there's extreme horror. I mean, this is definitely an extreme horror film for sure.
Have you seen Dream of Purple yet?
No, I have not seen Neon Purple.
Okay,
no, I didn't get a copy of that. I didn't have any.
There's way more gore in that one than there is in any of the other movies.
Is there? Because there's a ton of gore. There's definitely a ton of gore in Bonehill Road. Clownado's, like I said, Clownado was more. Yes. I guess to me, it was a little bit more. It was easier to watch because they had a lot more comedic moments in it. So that Bonehill Road did not. It was.
That's true. It was very more serious. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
So Bonehill Road was different. I mean, for one thing, you got to meet Linnea Quigley.
Yes, she's such a sweetheart.
I've heard that. I heard that she's just how she is on screen is how she is in person.
Yes, she is a doll.
And I like the idea when Todd says that, says I'm gonna put you in a movie, and then he'll end up doing it. If he says that, he'll make it happen.
He does. Yes, he will.
And I was really, it was really cool to see her. It was good to see her in a movie. It was like a catch-22 for me, because it was good seeing her in a movie again, and I really did enjoy that, because she was in it for more than one scene. It wasn't just, hi, how are you? Okay, here's your hotel room, and then now she's gone, and then they put her name on the box. I mean, Todd wrote a part for her. It was a character. I was just okay. I'll just be honest with you. I was really shocked at the violence. Maybe that was my first real extreme movie. I just thought some choices, the choices of the movie, like, he put the knife in and twisted it and pulled it out, and the intestines are coming out. I'm going like, that's really, it just seemed to be extreme. Did it bother you to play roles like that? I mean, did it ever cross your mind like, okay, that's a little gratuitous, or were you so busy in your character that you didn't really pay any attention to it?
Oh, I knew exactly what I was doing, and I had no problem with it. Because there were, like I said, it was just the topless part. I had underwear on, so I knew I wasn't going to be completely naked. And we crossed my legs to make sure that things were covered. And I trust Todd; he knows where my limitations are. And once we get my limitations set, I'm very comfortable with what I'm doing. I can get into my character with no problem because I trust him that much.
What about the gore part? Like
That
the
doesn't
scene,
bother me.
like seeing. I don't know. I mean, because Linnea's death was really long and drawn out.
I got you.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, to
Ah.
see something like that, did that as an actress, as a woman, did that bother you a little bit that it went on so long?
No, I maybe boring because it was going. Sorry, Todd, because it did go a little long, but otherwise it didn't bother me. But I don't know, it didn't bother me because I'm used to it, maybe. So
You're a little desensitized to it, maybe, or it's just
yeah,
like as a okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that that's the only part about it. I'm just being honest with you. And that was like, it took me out of of the movie a little bit because it's like, wow, that's just, it was just so
Yeah, I know a lot
wrong.
of complaints that it's too long, and a lot of complaints is that it's too much of a close up, so you can't really see anything because it's too close up or too dark. I don't know, and I don't really pay attention too much to it. I just know it's up there, so I don't. I wait for the scene to end, and then I'm ready for the next scene, if that makes sense, So
Now, I will have to say this. I will say one of the positive things I really liked a lot. I really enjoyed the werewolves. That was
yeah, they were fun.
those guys were tight.
Yes,
And you got to be a werewolf.
I did. I got to transform into one.
Yeah. Yes. How's that? That was your first. That was actually your first creature feature. I mean,
Yeah.
how did you like the transformation?
Oh, I loved it. That was the most fun. I mean, right there with the Dreaming Purple Neon when I was getting all bloody down for the birthing scene, getting all that makeup with Joe Castro it was just amazing. We had two teams. We had our team with RJ and Jackie and she's gonna kick my butt for forgetting that name. But we had our team in Kansas City. And then we had Joe Castro down in LA, and Joe did a lot of the face bubbling and stuff. And that was just so awesome the way he did that, because he actually made a cast of my face just from a photo that Todd sent him.
Oh
I
my
thought that was
God.
pretty cool, yeah. And then he was able to find a gal down there that had the same size feet that I had and the same style hands. So he was able to cast her feet and hands to make them look like mine because we had the fingernails growing out and the toenails and all that stuff, or the stretching of the foot I made. So that was fun watching him put all that together down there.
Who's as far as working with, who have been some of your favorites on working on with your films? What actors have you really enjoyed working with besides Douglas? Because Douglas is awesome.
Yeah, Douglas is amazing. I don't know if I have a particular favorite because they're all fun to work with. I mean, I don't know, because everybody has their own unique characteristics, so it's really hard to say you have a favorite. I think my favorites would be the ones who show up when they're going to. Those are my favorites. The ones who make the movie happen.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's yeah. Tell us what it was. Let's go back to the one scene, because I'm gonna have to talk about this, because I would so when I interviewed Douglas on here, he said he was so nervous and so anxious when he did the bathtub scene with you, and he's playing the master serial killer, right? He's like he's like the he's the baddest of the bad guys. He's crazy. Yet he did that scene, and take over and tell us, what was it like? What was he like, sitting in the tub with you, and how nervous was he? Could you tell he was a little bit anxious?
Yes, I could tell he was nervous, and I was making sure he knew it was perfectly okay. I said, "Don't worry about it. I'm comfortable with you being where you need to be." It's like the only thing my husband in the background was making sure that it stayed a close set, because there was like, he didn't want people there because people weren't supposed to be in there taking pictures because it was supposed to be a closed set, and at least that part. So we were making sure everybody was out, so I was comfortable. And I told Douglas, like, just, you know, I don't even remember what I told him there, but hopefully I let him know, you know, reassured him that, you know, he was okay to be that close to me and do what you need to do, because I was fine.
Yeah. He said that you put his hand, says here to help break the ice.
Yeah. I think, look, it's okay.
Oh my God. That's just awesome. I mean, because he was relatively new too.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It was like he was a new actor as well. You know, he had just he was just cutting his teeth as well. So here he is on the set, you know, and you know how it is. Every time you go on a set and there's an actor with a little bit more experience than you always are a little bit more anxious around them because they're veterans. And now here when you first started, you were like that. And now here you are, you're established, and now he's coming up. So he's got that same emotions, whether it be male or female. I'm sure it's the same. You know, I'm sure it is. You know, here he is. He's on one of his very first films. He's doing a really, you know, important scene, and it's with a naked co-star, a topless co-star. I'm sure there was a lot of I'm sure there was a lot of anxiety in that, you know, nervousness. So that the fact that you went in there and said, "Hey, it's all right, we got you." Do you think you're a calming influence on a set, Dilynn?
No, I don't think so.
Do people gravitate you and ask for your advice or just want to talk with you, or are you in character?
Sorry, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know, because usually when I'm not doing anything, I'm just off on the side, staying out of the way and talking with my husband most of the time. I think maybe I get too serious, so maybe, and I try to joke around sometimes. But I think Douglas does most of the ice breaking and most of the chattering when we're on set. I don't know. I don't know if I'm a calming influence or not. I probably am not. I always think that there's a time and place for certain things or behaviors, so I don't know.
So now, you know, so Bonehill Road came out. It did really well. It was a very hot film, and at least that I saw here in the YouTube community. There's a lot of reviews up for it. Mm-hmm. A lot of people were talking about it when we talk werewolf movies, because werewolf movies, there's not a real whole lot of them. You know, if you really think about it, they're not a lot. I mean, you know, people would do a top, like, they could maybe be able to do a top 10 werewolf movie, but if you have to do like a top 20, you know, and God help you say top 30, I think most people would be very hard pressed to be able to put together a list of top 20 or 30 werewolf movies. Your movie is one of those that's talked about now.
Oh, nice.
You know, what kind of feedback did you get from on Bonehill Road?
I got a mixture of it. I got it was pretty much 50-50. A lot of it was 50-50. People really loved it, and people really hated it. And then there was a few in between that liked it because they liked the transformation, but they didn't like other parts of it. So I got a lot of mixed reviews, you know, and some were very hateful, which we ignore those people. Yeah. But some were legitimate reasons, and I respect those reasons why they didn't like it. You know, those legitimate reasons I totally respect, and I can understand, you know. So yeah, I got mixed reviews from both, and friends and family, like whether they liked it. And I don't mind people being honest with me. It's like, you don't like it, no problem, you know. It's not for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I was torn. Like I said before, I was torn about it. In fact, I'm going over right now. I'm taking a peek at what I said, and you know, I mentioned that you know, I thought the gore put me off, but what I said was I said, this is what I said, and I'll read it through. It says, "Well, I can't recommend this film because of the violence. I still say that I'm a fan of Todd Sheets, the person. I do think he is the nice guy that comes across in the making of the feature. Um, you know, I just thought I think I really am. I really would like to meet him.
Yeah.
I don't say that lightly either. I would really like to sit down and talk to him one day, and just to see, pick his brain, because I can never. I just the extreme. It's like he's just the nicest guy. Seems like he gives the shirt off his back,
He would,
but
yes.
then he put a knife in Linnea Quigley and stuck it around there for 5 minutes. It's just like, it was so weird. It was such a
Well, and a lot of his fan base, though, a lot of his fan base are into the gory and the bloody and the entrails. That's what and that's what a lot of that comes from, is from
yeah.
a lot of his fan base that just embraces that gore. So
Yeah, I got that. I understand that. And what, you got to play. You got to play to your strengths. And that's the strength. So play to it. That's what people want. So as long as the story isn't the same thing, or it's always the same. The knife in the stomach every movie. As long as you're not doing that, then you're good.
And the funny thing is, there's a lot of people who complained that there wasn't enough gore in the movie.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. I'm scared of those people.
I thought that was funny. I was like, well, there's gore in it. What are you talking about? But there's also people that complained that there wasn't enough gore in Dreaming Purple Neon, and we had tons of gore in that one. We even had a drill going up some guy's booty. I mean, you can't get gorier than that.
Let's see. Kiss band thoughts, Patrick. Okay, I have no idea what that is. Jennifer, what does that mean, Jennifer? Jennifer Sassy. Some people are too picky. Yeah. Hobbs is asking thoughts of the Kiss band scene.
Yes.
Are you a Kiss fan?
Yeah, first, but they're. I like Kiss. Can't talk. I enjoy listening to Kiss from time to time. They're not the real Kiss band, of course. Almost Kiss. That's who we played. Yeah, that was Almost Kiss. That was in our movie at the end.
Was it like a cover band?
Yeah. And they're really cool, and they actually have the seal of approval from Kiss themselves, so which is kind of cool.
And it's probably even more cool is that they're able to walk.
Yeah.
The real band's pretty much on walkers by now.
Oh no, they're not. They're still kicking.
I thought I saw some pictures of them. They're almost like what? I don't know which older. I don't know who's older, the Rolling Stones or Kiss.
Oh, I don't know.
That's a really legitimate question.
I don't know.
Okay, Hobbs is laughing about that. Okay, I'm always busting his chops about that. Okay, so now we're going to Clownado, and that's the movie that I saw you in. As long as you done some other backwards, Books, Blood, and Mayhem.
But that one's not out yet.
That's not out yet. Okay. But the Clownado was different. Now, Clownado was really different for you because this is actually your first comedy. I mean, this is like I mean, it's dark comedy, but it's still comedic at its heart. It's still and they went up to him. I was watching that behind the scenes, and they went up to him and said, "Listen, what if you make this more comedic?" And because Todd said that he wrote this movie as serious.
Yeah.
And the guy they said, well, you have clowns in it. You should actually probably make it a little bit more fun. And so he did that. And there are some funny ass lines in that movie. How did you approach this movie?
Oh, this one was kind of hard to figure out. He wanted to do it in a noir style. So I watched a lot of the old noir movies that he suggested for me to go watch. But I noticed a lot of the ladies who were not the what's that word I'm looking for? I don't know. The villains of the Noors. I forgot what they're called. There's a certain name for the ladies.
Yeah, femme fatales for the ladies.
Yeah, the femme fatales. They had the very Noor accent. A lot of the side ladies did not really have a heavy, thick accent. They just talked normal, as far as I could tell. So I wasn't worried about making anything, enunciating. But I didn't know how to come across that character. And I still don't think I ever really got what he was trying to find. But I know she did very well. The other, I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue tied in my head now with names.
Let me help you here.
Her and John O'Hara did a really good job getting the accents down.
There's Rachel Legend.
Rachel Legend, yeah. She did a really good job doing that Noor accent and stuff, because that's what he was trying to do. And I still never, I don't know if I ever got what he was looking for, but he still liked it, obviously. So, but I don't know if I ever comprehended what he was looking for or not.
I liked her name too. She had a really good femme fatale name, Savannah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's a spell's trouble. I'm just curious, the movies that you watched, did you watch Double Indemnity?
No, I did not.
Oh, you got to watch that.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to watch that. There's Double Indemnity. Another good one is Body Heat with Kathleen Turner and William Hurt. That's a good one. And Against All Odds is a really good one. I love Noir films. They're really fun, and they're dark.
Yeah.
They're generally not, and you can watch all four of the Bogey and Bacall films. They're all Noir films as well.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah. I noticed in your name too, the Bambi. And I thought, well, that's such a cute name, for such such a fun girl. Do clowns scare you? I mean, what does scare you, Dilynn?
Zombies scare me. I never liked zombies. I don't like zombies. I used to have nightmares about zombies, but thankfully they've stopped recently.
Okay.
Probably, actually more recently. But I used to have very bad nightmares of zombies and T-Rex for some reason. Dinosaurs scared me.
So basically what you're telling us is to send you The Walking Dead and Jurassic Park.
See, but I love watching Jurassic Park though.
Yeah, Jurassic Park is cool.
I don't know why I would have dreams of T-Rex rampaging through the city. I have no idea what would cause those dreams, but
are you and Jeff Godzilla fans?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Okay. They're both in the Hall of Fame now. You guys just made the Hall of Fame. Alec Hart mentioning Laura too. Yes. Yeah, Laura. You gotta watch that too. Otto Preminger directed that. I believe. Is that Otto Preminger? Yeah, because I think Hitchcock did Rebecca. I think Al will tell me. Yeah. Let's see. Bambi was a buck, not a doe. Yeah, that is weird, isn't it? But people are called, but it's considered a feminine name.
Yeah, that's true. That is fun. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So how was it like working for a comedy? I mean, did you get some? Do you improv a lot? Does Todd allow improv, or is he strictly a?
No, he allows improv, as because he doesn't expect you to get and do every word for word. If you want to make it sound, as long as it sounds natural and you don't change the story, or you don't change the conversation a whole lot, you can improv your lines to make it come out natural. In fact, he would prefer as long as it comes out natural. You know what I mean? That's actually a pretty good deal. It's one of the reasons I like working with Todd, is because at first I thought I had to say everything word for word, and there would be times when it wouldn't come off my tongue just right. It would just sound awkward, and it just sounded so forced. And he's like, just make it your own, just say however you want to say it. So and I'm still learning to let go of that feeling of I have to get every word for word, you know. So
Right.
and I'm getting better at improving, which is makes it so much easier. And even Brad is good about letting me, you know, get the lines out the way that sounds more natural to come out. Because as an actor, you're not trying to rush through your scenes because you're promoting yourself as you're acting because you want other people to see you, but you have to make sure other people can see that you can act, you know, and still make it your own and still be able to take directions at the same time. So I'm taking directions, but I'm also making it my own and making it flow and sound natural, like this is an actual conversation somebody would have with another human being.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. I think improv, I mean, over and over, I've heard people just mention improv is so important as long as you don't go too overboard with it.
Right.
Now, I just lost that. Let me come back with another question here. What's been your favorite role that you've played so far? What role have you look back and you looked at it and just said, that's the best role, that's the best work I've done?
Oh, that is really a toss up between Dreaming Purple Neon and Bonehill Road. Because of the FX and the way it came out and the birthing scene was just the way it came out was just so beautifully done. And I thought that was just an amazing feat that I did. And then the transformation scene is just my most favorite thing to do. Like I could sit there and go through makeup again. Like I love it. It's my most favorite thing to do. And then one we just did recently that we can't talk about yet was probably going to be right up there with my favorites. So we're waiting for that one to come out.
And you got to work with Eileen Dietz in Clownado.
Yes.
As far as that goes, I mean, did you you got to work with Linnea Quigley and then Eileen Dietz. What did you feel like working with a couple of really well-known actors? Was it intimidating at all?
No, it was awesome. I thought that was pretty cool being able to share the screen with those two. It was great.
Yeah, you can look back. I mean, it makes for a great reel too.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you want to do next? Where do you see yourself going for? Before I ask that question, let's ask this one. What are three parts of your acting, or that you like the best? What three parts are the strongest, and what are three that you like to work on to become better?
Let's see. Well, the one that I love doing the best is probably screaming. That's probably my best feature. I can belt out a really good one. Facial expressions, I think I'm pretty good at doing those. And then what I want to work on the most, though, is actually line delivery. I just want to be able to get it to come out and sound, that's where the acting classes, I think, would come in handy, getting things to come out and sounding real. I still think I need a lot of work on that.
Does Jeff help you run your lines?
When he can, yeah.
Yeah. It must. That's a tremendous asset. You have someone to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Now, have you auditioned? Have you found yourself auditioning more and more for roles? I mean, are you?
I actually have not had that opportunity yet. I've sent out for auditions, but I haven't gotten any. I think I've only done maybe a handful of auditions, but that's about it.
Yeah. Do you like doing it? Do you like doing auditions in person, or have all yours been self-tape?
I've done both. I like the experience of being able to do both. I like being right there in person because I think they can get a better feel of who you are if you're in person. But I also like being able to do them online because if you mess up, you can redo it. And they even tell you, because of this day and age, there's no reason why you can't take your time with it before the deadline and do what you need to do for your, retake it as you can. They do say not to spend doing it for more than 3 or 4 times. 3 to 4 times. Don't do it too often because then it will come out, bad. So they do recommend that you do it, work on it a few times, and then send it in. But they also say at the same time, don't work on too long because then it won't come out very well. I'm repeating myself. So,
Now, does Topeka have a acting community in it? Or
they do the Topeka Civic Theater, and then there's another one. I always forget what it's called though. Helen Hawker, I believe. So there is a couple of them, but they don't have like classes or anything like that. So if I need to go to an in-person class, I may have to go to Kansas City or something like that, because they don't have classes here in Topeka that I've been able to find anyway.
Right.
But my best bet will probably be online classes.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, especially, we're still dealing with everything here. I mean, I know everything's opening back up and whatnot, but I still think, just gonna probably be a lot of still a lot of online classes and Zoom classes and whatnot.
Yeah.
What do you I'll make this our last question, because I kept you here so long. My last questions to you would be, what do you like to do for fun? I mean, what is something that you could tell us that you've never shared before?
I think I've probably shared about everything. I like going for walks on the nature trails. I love going for walks, especially when I can spend time with my husband on the walks. I love to travel, even though I don't get to do it as often as I'd like to do. But if I can just take a drive with my husband through, Kansas City or whatever, just go to a different restaurant out of town, that's fun. And then we recently went to Hawaii. That was my most favorite thing right there, because I would love to do that again and 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 again.
You guys, you posted so many awesome pictures from your. That was your honeymoon.
Yeah, that was. That was our honeymoon. Our official honeymoon.
No, you never had you didn't have a honeymoon until you went to Hawaii.
Right.
That's a lovely story. I mean, it's awesome that you guys got to do it, and you posted so many great pictures.
Thanks.
And you guys look so happy.
Yeah, it was a blast. It was really amazing, especially when you could sleep in your hotel room with the door wide open, because there's not any bugs out there. And if there is, it's like maybe one or two. There's not very many bugs out there at all, which is nice. You can sit there on the porch all night long and just enjoy the fresh air and the sea air, and you can hear all the birds and the night birds and stuff like that, because most of them, of course, go to sleep, but there's still some out there. But it's so beautiful just being able to sleep with the door open. Even the sound of traffic didn't bother you too much. It was great.
Let's see. Cookie says you should come to Weston, Missouri, Kansas City's favorite day trip. Have you ever been to Weston?
I don't think I have. I'm gonna have to do that.
Oh, there you go. Now you got something. Now you have something to do in the summer.
There was something that we wanted to do in Kansas City, and I think it was some kind of mines that are out there for some kind of caves or something that's out there that we want to go see. I can't remember what it's called though, but we've seen it in brochures, so we know we want to go to see it for sure.
Now, before you got High Fear coming out.
Mm-hmm.
High Fear coming out, and what else do you have that you can talk about? What else do you have that's going to be coming out this year?
This year, as far as I know, is just High Fear. I don't know how much more he's got to do on this project that we're working on. We got it wrapped up finally. I don't think he's got any more shots to pick up, because I believe he's working on sound and stuff like that. So if everything works out, we'll have 2 projects out this year.
And will you be doing any convention appearances this year?
Yeah, I will actually be back for Slash and Bash for Keith the Critic, Keith Van Sickle. He runs the Slash and Bash here in Topeka, so I'll be out there as a guest with him again.
Okay, that's awesome. What date would that be?
Oh, I don't think they've set a date officially yet. He's just getting everything together. But I believe it'll either be in August or September.
Okay.
It'll be in 2 months.
Let's see. They have granite. They have granite mines. That, see. That left. Oh, they have They have granite mines that left caves. Some of the National Archives are in them. And Steven's encouraging you to come down to Spooky Empire in Florida.
Oh, I would love to if we can. Yeah.
Yeah, Steven can call Peter up and tell him to book you down there.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
You should do that, Steven. Give Peter a call and ask him. Couldn't hurt. Maybe you can sponsor. Maybe Steven, I got an idea. Well, that is an idea. Maybe, but I'll talk to him off because I don't want to put him on the spot here. I want to thank you so much, Dilynn. This has been an amazing interview, and I'm so glad I asked you because you're very delightful.
Well, thank you.
This has been a lot of fun, and thanks for putting up with I mean, I hope I didn't come across as being negative about some of the roles, but it's just I don't know. I always get teased for it too. They believe me. They say you're a little bit. I thought you liked horror. It's like I do like horror, but I don't know. I'm just not an extreme guy.
Yeah, I mean, horror is different for everybody. You got your own expectations and what you like and don't like. Everybody's different, and it's okay.
Of course, if Rick was here, he'd be giving me shit right now. That's Underground Subrosa. He sells a lot of your films. In fact, he might even have any film that Todd Sheets that you haven't seen yet, like Goblin. He'd be the one to get it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. In fact, I'll put not only will I put Dilynn's information down below, I will also put Underground Subrosa's link down below too. So if you want to see some of Todd Sheets' movies, I'm sure that Rick can get them.
Nice.
Now that guy's a magician. I want to thank the chat for coming out and supporting the interview. I really appreciate it. Including Cookie and Michael and Hobbs and Al and Steven and Mr. Bones. Thank you guys so much for coming out and supporting this interview. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks, Michael.
We actually be getting ready to go to the midnight hour at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock starts. The midnight hour will be on Hobbs Horse channel. So I'm sure Mr. Bones will drop that off. Mr. Bones, can you drop off Hobbs's channel in the chat? For us, we will be back next week with. Oh, actually, I'll be back here on Sunday. Oh, God, I forgot about that. So I'll be back here on Sunday at March 13th at 4 p.m. And we are doing a special interview with film director and music promoter Dave McLean. Dave McLean will be here. He is managing a band called Placebo, and he has worked with some awesome bands in the past, Green Day, Smashing Pumpkins, and and Nirvana. He's worked with them in the past. So we will be talking to him Sunday at 4 p.m. And we'll be back here next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, the 16th, we will be talking to the all-around talent that is Mariah Owen. That will be here at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, thank you guys for so much, and we will see you soon. Thanks so much. Stay right where you're at, Dilynn. Peace.